Howdy, folks. Welcome to a Smiley Show. Now, let's see here. We have a lot to get to today, folks. Um, one of which is Hunter Biden. Yeah, they're getting closer to getting him. That's a good one. In fact, they have actually, um, found out that CIA chief at the time lied. In fact, had 50 people falsely sign some things because Anthony Blinken, who was Biden's campaign guy at the time, wanted Biden to get elected. And he knew that if the Hunter Biden thing was out there and everybody found out about the hookers and the this and the that on the laptop, that it likely wouldn't look too good for Crypt Keeper Joe. But nevertheless, Twitter was involved, censoring the New York Post article, all sorts of things, and therefore you have no Hunter info, and Joe gets elected. Now, I pasted, or posted, however you want to look at it, the link in the description box. Whether it'll show up or not, I don't know. You may have to copy and paste the link to find the article because YouTube has constantly been dinging me for 2020 election misinformation. So I figured I would put that in there just to cover my ass. Not that their algorithms care anyway. Another thing we have here is the battle between Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis, which has gotten, it's more about Trump attacking DeSantis. DeSantis isn't really firing back. But nevertheless, that is what it is. We're also going to get into Joy Reid. Y'all know how I think about that. How horrible I think Joy Reid is. I think she's probably the dumbest person in media. But then again, that's just me. Let's see, what else do we have here? I'm trying to look for information on this Joy Reid stuff. There we go. Okay, I got that one. That's a couple days ago. Okay, we'll load that one up. We also have all these shootings, folks. That's one I'm really gonna hit on here. All these shootings that have been happening around this country. The media, and we're gonna start off with this, and then we'll go down the line. The media has not mentioned many of them, and that's kind of interesting. They happen to, you had a bunch of celebrities out there. Not sure of all the names. Most of them were women. I know. I heard Jennifer Aniston was one, which is not surprising because she's woke. This guy, what was his name? Hold on, let me pull that up here too. Basically, it was a. Here we go, right here. Take that from CNN just so we can see her spin on it. Basically there was a bunch of them. There was a shooting at a Sweet 16 party in Alabama which resulted in the death of, I believe, the deaths of 4 or 5 people and the injuries of 15 or 16 others. And that was a black person Sweet 16 party, little black girls. There's a bunch of, it was a black party, and the shooters were 2 black guys. They got them. There were 2 black guys. You don't hear about it anymore. You heard about a shooting of a Sweet 16 party because that fit the Democrat narrative. But once they found out the 2 guys were black, no, it's not all over the place. However, what is all over the place, folks? Would you care for a little drinky poo? A little drink? Yeah. What is all over the place is this black kid, very, very good student, great kid, whose name is, it doesn't have it on here, I can't remember. Okay, so CNN isn't really saying the names. The name, if it says the name of the assailant, I don't see the name of the kid, but that doesn't matter. We'll Jarl. Let's see, what was it? Anyhow, we'll get to that a little later. So this is a 16-year-old. I believe he was 16. 16-year-old Ralph Jarl. There it goes. It says it right there. So a white homeowner accused of shooting teen who went to the wrong house in Kansas City will face 2 felony charges, officials says. Now, this is an 84-year-old white guy. And of course, he did face charges. But initially, the media was all about, he's racist, this, that, and the other thing. Racist, 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 racist. It's a white supremacist. Killed a little black kid. Didn't kill a black kid. Actually, he didn't. The kid's at home recovering. He was at home within a day or 2 after the initial shooting. He got, I guess, grazed in the arm, and I guess they hit him in the head, but it must have been a pretty weak gun for him to survive that with no issues. Within a matter of, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, the GoFundMe page for this kid has raised $3 million, probably more. I don't know how much it is at the time, but it had already raised $3 million within a week, less than a week. And there was another shooting that happened in New York. I'm looking that up. See if we can even find it. Okay, yeah, Kayleen Gillis. Okay, there we go. Boom. Okay, we got it. Okay. 20-year-old girl fatally shot by upstate New York homeowner, this is from the New York Post, for pulling into the wrong driveway. 20-year-old girl, a woman, you could say girl because she's only 20, was shot dead by an upstate New York homeowner Saturday night after the driver of the car she was riding in turned into the wrong driveway. Gillis from Saratoga County was inside the vehicle with 3 pals and they made a wrong turn into a driveway while searching for a friend's house in the town of Hebron, as the Washington County Sheriff's Office said. The driver was leaving. Kevin Monahan, the owner of the home, the group accidentally pulled up to, allegedly fired 2 shots from his patio at the vehicle. Monahan, 65, was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. Gillis was pronounced dead when first responders reached the car. They made a GoFundMe for her to raise funeral money. It had raised $90,000. Whereas this black kid, who is alive and well and now a millionaire, has raised $3 million. Do you hear anything on the fake news media about this white girl that was shot and killed in the driveway in New York? Just boom. Again, in both incidents, 2 shots were fired. Guy in Kansas City hit the guy both times, but didn't kill him. And again, he's 84 years old. This was after 9 o'clock at night. Guy was probably in bed. Allegedly, as the article. This is CNN's article. Oh, he shot him through a glass door with a .32 caliber revolver. Of course, everybody's saying this was a racial thing. Clay County prosecuting attorney said that anyway. And when asked whether Lester may also face hate the property of the laws and say that hate crime in Missouri is a lower level of felony, and I think that such charges could constitute double jeopardy. A probable cause document released on Monday evening similarly doesn't shine any light on why authorities believe race played a role in this case. Two representatives of the Kansas City Police Department Detention Unit previously told CNN the suspect was taken into custody on April 13th, just before midnight, was released 2 hours later. Thompson said that Lester was only held for several hours after he was initially detained because police recognized right away that more investigative work had to be done. Thompson originally said 85, but he was 84. Okay, so whatever. He's in the 80s, According to the probable cause statement, Lester told investigators he was scared to death by Yarl's size and his inability to defend himself at that age. He told investigators he was in bed when he heard the doorbell ring, grabbed a handgun before answering the door. He stated that he believed someone was attempting to break into the house and shot twice through an exterior storm door within a few seconds of opening the main door. A police detective writes in the court document. After the shooting, Lester repeatedly expressed concern for Ralph, according to the statement. Teen is recovered at home. He obviously pulled into the wrong address. Again, white girl pulls in the wrong address, gets shot and killed by another white guy. Black dude pulls into wrong address, gets shot but not killed by an 85-year-old. In Kansas City, where everybody owns guns. However, in New York, where very few people can own guns, and you have to go up your ass and around the corner to get all the permits to own guns, they kill a black girl. Nobody cares. Where there's a gun control, nobody cares. So, that's where your media bias is. And again, where the hell is Black Lives Matter on all these people getting, 16 people getting shot or more in a Sweet 16 Alabama party? Where is Black Lives Matter when a little girl, I forget where it was, I'm going to say it was North Carolina, I could be wrong, decided to it was chasing, a 5-year-old girl was chasing a ball into some yard, and this was another black guy. Let me think. I'm gonna have to pull this up. Stand by real quick. Chasing basketball into yard. Let's see what we get here. Now, another CNN article, so you know it's not conservative biased. Robert Louis Singletary, suspect accused of shooting a 6-year-old neighbor and her parents in North Carolina. I was right. Okay. After basketball rolled into his yard, was apprehended as in custody in Hillsborough County, Florida. Jail records showed that Singletary, 24, was arrested Thursday afternoon, ending in a manhunt in which police described the suspect as armed and dangerous. The suspect turned himself into authorities, according to news from Gaston County. He did not have any identification on him as the process, and identity was confirmed before 7 p.m. He appeared in a Florida courtroom Friday and waived his right to extradition, accounted to a waived his right to fight extradition. Okay, I was gonna say, if you waived his right to extradition, I didn't even know you could do that. But if you got charged for that in Florida, buddy. Singletary then walked inside. According to several neighbors, the incident began Tuesday when a basketball rolled into Singletary's yard, and he yelled at the kids who went to retrieve it. One of the kids told his father, who then went to Singletary's house and said something to the effect of, "Stop cussing my kid out. If you got a problem, come out and talk to me. We can work it out," according to three neighbors. Singletary then walked inside, coming out with a gun and opened fire at the neighbors, wounding a 6-year-old girl and her parents. "We never expected anybody would break a gun out amongst all those kids," neighbor Jonathan Robinson told CNN. I mean, that was insane. 6-year-old girl who was hit in the back of who was hit in the cheek and described WPTV of, okay, so she's alive. Oh, look at this, folks. She's a white kid. It's a white family shot by a black guy. Oh, would we look at that? Huh. Would you look at that? And then, apparently, he shot the father in the back. Girl's mother told CNN doctors removed bullet fragments from her daughter's cheek and noted that her own elbow was grazed by a bullet. She said they had nothing to do with the basketball game. The family was outside grilling and her daughter was riding her bike. Hildebrand learned of the suspect's arrest Thursday night when CNN contacted her for comment. She said via text that she was glad and couldn't believe he made it all the way to Florida. Police would not confirm what started the Tuesday night shooting in Gastonia, or citing the investigation. The incident was another case in the past week in which young people were shot after making a common blunder, including 2 teen cheerleaders mistakenly approaching someone else's vehicle in a Texas grocery store parking lot, 16-year-old who rang the wrong doorbell in Kansas City, and a 20-year-old who turned the wrong New York driveway. But, now they're changing their statement of the 16-year-old, right? Because people are apparently, I guess neighbors say that the guy never yelled at kids or whatever, but he shot at them. So, I mean, I wonder what he shot him with. Must have been a 22 frangible round or something like that. I mean, thankfully, and the pictures are on the article. I'm surprised it's on CNN. I guarantee you won't find it on PMSNBC. Let me look back at this here, folks. Let's see. Insider, New York Post, USA Today, the MSN. Nope. No PMSNBC. Look at that, folks. Are you surprised? See, media bias is the most pervasive form of media bias is omission. Here it is, a little white girl shot by a black guy for chasing a basketball in the cheek. Fortunately, she survived. Her dad shot in the back. But they don't care about that. Meanwhile, they care about this. All the celebrities. The celebrities aren't coming out about it. The news has to report it because they get sued if they didn't. The celebrities only care about the 16-year-old black kid that was shot by an 84-year-old guy at night when the guy was in bed and he lived alone. And, in Kansas, in Missouri, come on, man. Maybe the guy has dementia, like the president. Now, let me just run this by. Is it not okay for a person with, it turned out he has dementia, they're going to take his guns away. However, he has a couple guns, right? Yeah, he can hurt 1 or 2 people. President of the United States has a nuclear code. He could blow up a whole damn country. And knowing Biden, it would probably be this one. So maybe they should take the nuclear codes away from Biden if they want to take away guns from people with dementia. And you can't take nuclear codes away from the president. You can fire the president. Then you just have to find a way to rule Kamala Harris incompetent to run the country so we're not even more fucked than we are with Joe Biden. Anyhow. On to the next topic. It's been a pretty big day, and this is Florida. Yep, a pretty big day, a pretty big couple weeks. in the Florida legislative session. I'm going to call out DeSantis on the 6-week abortion ban that passed. I don't agree with it at all. 15 weeks, fine and dandy. But you got a lot of meth heads in Florida, and a lot of meth heads are hookers. And meth heads aren't going to know they're knocked up at 6 weeks. So then guess what? The government has to pay for that meth baby that's going to have 5 arms and 1 leg. And I've always said, especially on this program, you can't be a fiscal conservative and be 100% pro-life. You just can't. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Because the people that are going to be forced to be having these kids because they can't have abortions, most of them don't work or they're hookers. So then that child becomes a ward of the state and ends up all fucked up because it's a crack or a meth baby. So I'm against that. And that one pissed me off. Another thing that DeSantis did, which I have no problem with personally, I totally agree with it. But I think it would definitely hurt him in a presidential election, which is why I don't want him to run. Plus, we've always discussed that even if he were to somehow win in the primary, which is possible, Trump would run as a third party, and that would be it. Game over. Unless, well, no, it would be game over. It would be another term for Biden unless we get to the next point here. Another thing that Trump did, and this is what DeSantis. Again, I kind of like it because I'm sick of gayness being shoved down my throat and in my face. By the way, I've never seen so much Bud Light on the shelves. Nobody's buying it, and the distributors are taking a huge hit. So they need to back off the faggotry and maybe make 3 or 4 polar opposite commercials of the Dylan Mulvaney crap. I mean, they're putting out pro-America commercials, but nobody's buying it. And I never liked Bud Light anyway, so like I said, it doesn't really matter. I drink Coors. What was I saying? I don't know. How did Joe Biden over there? Oh, so the so-called "Don't Say Gay" law, parental rights and education bill, whatever, now has been extended. Where initially it said pre-K through grade 3, no instruction of gayness and sexual orientation in the classrooms. Apparently now, DeSantis has, I believe, signed into law a bill that expands that all the way through grade 12, which, again, a lot of these teachers promote faggotry. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Gayness, if you will. You don't see anybody acting gay in middle school unless they're like either whacked or if they're legit gay. But I've seen girls kiss in high school that were not gay. They were pretending to be gay. Later on in life, turned out they weren't gay. Many of them are now, on their way. The dudes were fewer and further between. And a lot of the dudes that pretended to be gay or bi or acted gay or bi in high school, once they got older, turned out to be totally straight. So I agree with keeping the queerness out of the teachers. And truth of the matter is, kids are all on social media. These kids are all having their phones. They get enough gay crap on social media that they don't need it from the teachers, as far as I'm concerned. But the liberals are going to have a huge problem with that thing. Again, I don't. I think it's perfectly fine. I think the only part of sexuality that needs to be taught in school is, you're growing up and, your Johnson's going to get a little stiff and you're going to bleed out of your vagina and it might tingle from time to time. That's all that kids really need to know, that when that random event happens, they don't need to freak out. You don't need to teach them other than that. Let them find out on their own. if a dude's around, he's a 15-year-old dude's around a bunch of, cute women, cute girls, whatever, and his penis decides it wants to go up his butthole, then he might be gay. And ditto with the females. But it doesn't need to be shoved in everybody's face. And, a tomboy that's 9 years old, a girl that likes to, play around with the boys, but, play sports and everything, doesn't need to be told, oh, you might want to chop off your boobies when you turn 14 and get a penis because you're really a boy. Most of these people turn out to be completely different once they grow up. But the Democrats don't want that to happen. I agree with that. Another thing DeSantis did, which I think is awesome. Well, he didn't. It passed through the fully Republican Florida House and Senate. If you're convicted of raping a child in the state of Florida, you can now get the death penalty, which is great. Now keep the queer pedos the hell out of here. And most of all the other ones. Okay, what else do we have? Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is announced he is running for president. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was not allowed to be interviewed on CNN. They didn't interview him on CNN, PMSNBC, NBC, any of those things. Because CNN says here, 69-year-old Kennedy, nephew of former President John F. Kennedy and son of Attorney General and assassinated in 1968. Many of these entities, there we go, longtime vaccine skeptic. They call him an anti-vaxxer. A lot of them don't like him. The Democrats don't. And he was on Tucker Carlson earlier this week. The problem with RFK Jr. is he has some issues that make his voice quiver. And a lot of the people don't, it's kind of almost Fetterman and Biden-esque. So he's not very strong, but he definitely has a hell of a lot more brains than Joe Biden or that kooky witchcraft Marianne Williamson. Oh my God, I forgot about Rush Limbaugh. I had a field day with her. He so did. I forgot all about that one. So those are the only two people that are opposing Crypt Keeper Joe. Meanwhile, cackling Commie Harris is down here in my hometown. Fortunately, I don't have to deal with any traffic related to it. At the University of Miami, which Buck Sexton from the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton show, who is now a resident of the free country of Florida, welcome. Oh, that was another thing. I get to DeSantis. I don't know if I went through this earlier in the program. I had a Joe Biden moment. Trump, yeah, I did. Trump saying DeSantis did a horrible job on COVID and everything. Okay, I already went through that. Buck Sexton said about how he had to go to a thing at the University of Miami. Most of you probably listen to that show. And they made him wear a mask, and he was not too happy about having to wear a mask. But it is what it is. University of Miami has always been a Democrat safe haven for the most part. It's a private school. Any Ivy League-ish school, which UM should qualify as an Ivy League school if it doesn't. Any higher educational institution, unless it's Hillsdale College, is going to be full of woke people. So anyhow, folks, for any of you that watched, I hope you enjoyed the show. Oh, and be careful of AI. Elon Musk said it could easily take over the world. And he's usually right. He's usually right. Even though his rocket blew up, but that's part of the testing. Catch you later, folks. Fuck Joe Biden.